Welcome back to J&L Lumber, and this week I'm working on a couple of things. I've got a project here on the dump trailer that I need to get done, and then after I'm done with this project, I'm going to head to the sawmill and I'm going to start cutting up 2x4s for our pump shed project, and I'll be showing you that here in the coming weeks as I get this lumber cut up for it, and what the plan is there. But for today, the goal is this morning I'm working on getting this hydraulic pump in our dump trailer changed out. So this is the second time I've replaced the pump and tank in this trailer. And what came with the trailer is a plastic hydraulic reservoir. And where that mounts to the pump has been my issues with leaking. So whenever it sits there, it's leaking where the reservoir attaches to the hydraulic pump. And I've put gasket material on. I've tried some things to stop that, and it has helped, but it still does not stop the leak. And so basically every time I come out to use it, I've got to continually add ATF fluid to it before I can use it. So what I ended up doing is I bought a Vevor hydraulic pump and tank combo, and this actually has a metal reservoir where it mounts to the hydraulic pump. So hopefully that will be more rigid and seal and not leak like the plastic one does. I think just over time that plastic either stretches or gives something in there to where you just don't get a good tight seal where that reservoir meets up to the pump. So I'm gonna take you around, show you the replacement process on this. The actual Vevor pump is actually a little bit shorter on the reservoir, sits up a little taller, so I think it's actually going to fit a little better inside of my box here where I store all of that at. And so we'll get all of that. We'll get the old one unwired, pulled out, and then we'll work on getting the fittings made up for the new Vevor pump and get that in there. So hang tight, we're going to get this going. Okay, so this is what I'm pulling out of here. So this is the hydraulic pump reservoir, and where this mounts onto the hydraulic pump, this is where it leaks, and then I've added some gasket material here, tried to reseal it up. It definitely helped. It slowed the leak down quite a bit, but still not 100%. And so I'm gonna go ahead and pull this out, disconnect it, and then we'll clean this up a little bit and then get the new one mounted in here and wired up. So okay, so first off I'm gonna go ahead and disconnect the electrical. This here is the actual remote connection. I already unscrewed that, took that off of there. So, and then I just have to undo the two hydraulic hose connections. Now with the Vevor, I'm not sure what it comes with. I hadn't actually unboxed it yet, so we'll have to see if there's anything there that connection wise. Hopefully either I can pull the connections off of this for the fittings, or if it came with all the fittings that I need. So we will find out. One thing that I did not do, and I need to hook up, well, I had the trailer lifted a little bit to keep the rain out from holding in it, so that's why the fittings are a little bit tight, because they still have quite a bit of pressure on them. So the trailer's now lowering down. So once that pressure is off, I'll go ahead and finish undoing the connections. Got ahead of myself. I should have lowered all of that down before I disconnected everything. Okay. And there's the other connection undone. So we got that part finished. Now we can pull this pump out. Okay, so I'm gonna clean out this compartment some, get all of that old oil residue out of it, and then we'll work on getting the new Vevor pump set in place and see what we need to do connection wise. Okay, so this is the Vevor hydraulic pump. I don't remember offhand the specifications on this, but I'll put that down in the a link to it in the description. So if you're interested or need a hydraulic pump for your dump trailer or something else, you know, you'll have that you can look at and compare the specs. So it looks like it may have the fittings I need in there, and I won't have to take them off of the old pump, but I'm going to pull this out here and get it installed. I've got the area cleaned up that it's going to go back in, so we will get this thing done here hopefully pretty quick. Okay, so it does come with the fittings for the hoses, and I'm trying to get it to where you can see that, but they're straight, and in this particular setup the angled 90-degree fitting elbow would be a lot better in the way that the hoses come into this box. So I'm going to go ahead and pull those off of the old unit and make sure they're going to match up and work, and hopefully that will be exactly what I need. So okay, so this here is the fitting that came with the Vevor pump. This would go basically from your threaded connection on the hydraulic pump onto your hydraulic hose. Like I said, the only problem is that these are straight, and it's going to make it more difficult to get those hoses connected. So having the 90-degree fitting would definitely help. So this is what I took off of my old pump, and so after looking at it, the size is the same, the threads are the same. Whoops, if I could show you that here in the camera. So I'm going to basically use these 90-degree fittings in place of the straight, and that way my hoses will go straight up to them, connect up, make it a whole lot easier. Okay, so what I've found out is basically the 90-degree angles are fittings that I was going to put on the pump won't fit without having to take off all of the pressure adjustment valves first, and I don't really want to tear into that and possibly mess something up. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back just to the straight connections, and I'm going to reposition the pump hopefully to where I can get my hoses to fit into both of those straight connections on the pump. And so I'm kind of switching. I'm putting the battery on one side, and I'm going to move the pump to the other, to where I have a little bit more working room with the hoses. Okay, so I didn't video this. It was just too much to get into, but as I was in there trying to make all of this fit. So as you can see there, I've got the hoses on both sides connected up, just using the straight fittings that came with the Vevor pump. So what I ended up doing, the battery was over here, so I moved it over to the side, and I don't know if I zoom out, maybe you can see some of that. But move the battery over to the other side, and so I'm going to make up all of my connections over here. So I had to put the pump in at an angle like this just to be able to get my hoses to bend and connect up. So I'm kind of wondering, I can do one of two things. I really have no extra slack in the hoses. These hoses come direct off the cylinder, and that's all the length I've got. I've looked under the trailer and I really can't gain any extra length in the hose. So I'm kind of wondering if I guess and again, I looked at, you know, taking these out, but I don't know that I really want to take out these pressure valves in here. I just don't know what's in there or what I could mess up by doing that or have to readjust somehow. And I'm no hydraulic expert. But these would have to come out to put 90-degree fittings in here. And if I could get 90-degree fittings in here, that would work just fine. I guess maybe I could look at getting a 90-degree that would screw onto this to extend it out, maybe. I guess is one option. Another option is just make up two new hydraulic hoses, and just add some length to it to give me the ability to not have such a tight bend in these hoses. Or I guess making up some small extension hoses and putting a fitting in between there to make them connect up. So I'm going to see if this is going to work for now. This will at least put it in operation. I've got some stuff to haul off, but let me know in the comments what your thoughts are, and how I should go about fixing that to where I can position this a little bit better, and not have such a tight bend in those hoses. Okay, so I'm going to finish getting this wired back up, get my battery put over there, get all the connections made, and I've got to run to the store, get some hydraulic fluid to fill this thing up, and then I'll be hopefully ready to go. Okay, so I've got it somewhat connected, and I just got back from O'Reilly's, picked up some hydraulic fluid, so we're gonna go ahead and get this thing filled up. So this thing says it takes 2 gallons, so that's what I bought. Apparently they don't make them easy peel and pull on these. You gotta cut them open. Okay, so it says to fill this up 3 to 5 centimeters from the top. So as I get closer to the end of the 2 gallon, we'll see what that looks like. Okay, I'm gonna say that's it. After I run it, may need to add a little bit more to it. That's almost to the top, so I'm going to say 3 to 5 centimeters is where I'm Okay, so I still need to add in a new circuit breaker for trailer charging and all of that, so I'm going to do that here in a minute. But I've got everything wired in as far as the pump goes, so let's see if I've got everything hooked up right. Okay, so my hoses are backwards, so up and down is backwards, but this is a double action pump as well. I didn't mention that early on. So you have to hold the button to go up and down. Your single action, I think, is just a relief valve. So basically when you hold it, it'll relieve the pressure and the dump trailer will just come down without power. But this here is a double action, so to bring the bed back down, you got to hold the button to cycle the fluid back into the tank. My battery may need charging, it looks like, because it's pretty sluggish. But I mean, it is working, and I'm not seeing any leaks on anything. Okay, so I'm gonna have to get my battery charged up and to cycle it back down. But okay, other than that, I think that part's good. So I'll clean this up, get my circuit breaker put back together and installed, and then I'll hook up my jumper box to it to at least get this set back down, and then I'll have to haul it up to the shop to plug it into power and recharge it. So okay, so I've got everything put back together. I'm gonna wait and do the circuit breaker for the charging and stuff on the battery when it's hooked up to the truck, once I get it back to the shop. So I've got everything packed up, and I'm gonna get the tractor here in a little bit and take it up to the shop. I'll finish installing that circuit breaker and get those things done, get my charging device back on here, and then plug it up at the shop and let it get that battery charged up good. So I was able to put my little jumper box on there, and it ran the hydraulics fine, got the trailer back down. So yeah, so we're gonna hook up, head to the house, put this on the charger, and get that done, and that'll be ready to go. And then I got to make one more run into town, pick up a few things, and so I don't know if I'm gonna get to sawmilling today. Maybe we'll get to sawmilling tomorrow. Okay, so I'm back. I've got the over here, I've got the breaker installed. I've got one wire hooked up, but my other wire is too short since the battery was over here and I've had to move it. So I'm working up a new wire now to replace this one. It'll go from the battery to the other side of this breaker, and that should be for the charging whenever it is hooked up to the truck. So other than that, I think everything else is good to go. I've got the charger plugged in, and it's been charging on the Noco Gen 1. It's a onboard charger. I leave it in here, and that way I can just back up, plug it in, and it's good to go. So I've got all the terminals tied to the battery. So we're gonna get this two ends crimped on, and I know this is white, not red like my other one, but I know what it goes to, so that's all that really matters. I need a small crescent. So it's really an adjustable wrench, but you know, I grew up always called it Crescent. I guess that's because what everybody used was the brand name Crescent. Tell me what you call it. Adjustable wrench, Crescent wrench. That'll probably kind of date you as well, possibly. Okay, so I'm done with the install now. I've got the pump in, and I've got the battery rewired in. So I've tested it out. Everything works great on it. I may come back and I'll kind of see what I can figure out on those hoses. Like I said, if you got some suggestions on best way to do that, if you know if there another fitting I can add on there that would extend it out a little bit, you know, past those pressure valves in there that I could put an elbow on, the elbow would be the ideal solution. You know, instead of having to go make up new hydraulic hoses and replace all of that. But other than that, I'm gonna let it charge overnight. It should be charged up probably by tonight or first thing in the morning. And then I'll get it back down to the sawmill area, and I've got some scrap iron that I need to load up and haul off. So that's why I'm trying to get this done today, just so I can start loading that stuff up and getting it hauled down to the scrap yard. So I've got to run to town. I've got to go get some DEF fluid for the truck. Probably by the time I get back, it's going to be kind of late. I'm not going to probably jump out there and get started sawing, so I'm going to wait, do that tomorrow, try to get some sawing in, and maybe this evening I'm going to clean up the slab where the pump shed is, and or pump shed's going to be, and then I can kind of show you too what that project's going to look like and what we're going to be building over there. So stay tuned. I'm going to be back.